welcome to Clear Skies. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be talking about meeting notes and how to take those meeting notes to something actionable, something useful. And our speaker is our lovely Rob Gundling. We're excited to talk to him today. Per usual, it's just me, your hostess with the mostest, and my lovely Vanna White, Jim. And we're going to get this party started as quick as possible.
I don't know if I would say it's just you, Caroline. I mean, we wouldn't get our fun facts of the day and those kind of tidbits without...
Well, speaking of fun facts of the day, did you know that you are more likely to remember anything if you write it down at least 3 times? You are 20% more likely to remember it.
I'm going to write that down.
3 times?
3 times.
I'm starting to wonder if this AI note taker thing's a good idea at all. I mean, you're not writing them down. Meeting's over.
Meeting's over.
Kidding.
But if you can write down all you want, but if you don't remember where you put that piece of paper, you're lost. You know what's even worse? If you don't write down the right thing, how do you know you missed something? It's way too easy to miss an action item. On a regular day, we're wondering what everyone's primary method for capturing their meeting notes would be. Which one are you?
I rely on the memory, which used to work well. Not so much anymore.
I still handwrite notes and use an AI note taker, but I know this is the primary method. I like having the AI note taker. I have to now.
I'm big on handwriting notes. I feel like it's that school instilled learning, you know? Now, this one's just a fun one for us. AI note-taking tools, they can automatically identify an action item and assign them to the correct people. True or false? Jim, what do you think?
Are you talking right now or are you talking about?
Yes, I'm talking right now. Do you think that AI can delegate the right items to the right people, or do you think that's false?
If it's just note-taking, I'm going to say that capability is not here yet.
Ooh. Then this will be a little spicy for you. Oh.
I love it when Jim's wrong and we get to learn him something.
I wouldn't say it's that he's wrong. I would say...
First for everything.
I would say it depends on the definition of assigning them to the correct people. There are key takeaways in a lot of these note takers, and that becomes a nice boon to remember who said they would be responsible for what. I use this stuff every day, and people in the company now are starting to use note takers every day to do things like make their project proposals better, discovery meetings with a customer or client on project scoping, meeting with vendors, interviews. I don't want to commoditize meeting note takers, right? I mean, it's a device. It takes notes. It records the audio. But that's not really where the magic is. The magic's when the data from this becomes reusable business context. Long term, you can remember what was said, extract those moments that matter, not lose them. Remember the decisions, draft a follow-up. And the thing I'm really wanting people to take away today is the importance of teaching your language models of choice more about you so that you can more easily turn how the data is interpreted and what those draft emails look like into something that's more readily accessible and useful to you personally. We're going to be in meetings already anyway. Why not try to use a tool to even make them more valuable? If there's one takeaway from the meeting, it's that the meeting tools let you capture the conversation, but the value comes with the process tied to your business judgment, your voice, your follow-up style, and your workflow. If you can automate going from this to that as fast as possible, that's really where the value comes from. I'm going to give you some hints about that. To introduce the services I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about Plaud and Fathom. Plaud's basically, well, this is the device, and the convenience is I'm not having to use my smartphone or break out a laptop. I can just go into a meeting and say, hey, do you mind if I record this? I really want to make sure I can reference everything we said. I've never had anyone say no, but always ask. And then you simply hit a record button and you're off to the races. In-person meetings, quick huddles with your team, quick huddles with a customer, recording phone calls. Hey, do you mind if I record this while we're on? And then don't let me forget this voice notes. I'm walking around and going, I got to tell Jim something. I want to make sure I follow up with him in an email. It's great for getting those moments where I don't want to forget the idea. I got a bunch of things going on.
Rob, before we go on, that's a pretty small device. Does it have a case or does it attach to your phone? How do you make sure you don't lose it?
Yeah. So if you're on any of the Apple phones for the last 3 generations, I think they have that MagSafe wallet feature
Mm.
built in. It just stays on the back of your phone. And then if you're like me and you're an Android guy that doesn't natively have MagSafe, they make cases that have MagSafe in it that'll still allow your phone to wirelessly charge. Most people have a case on their phone anyway, so that's really not that big of a deal. Again, laws in your country or your state, make sure you let people know you're recording the call, right? I'm not advising secret recordings here.
Absolutely. Florida is a two-party consent state.
Fathom is platform agnostic. It'll go into Zoom, Google Meet, or Teams. And its superpower really is how much it just automatically does. It's going to record and transcribe your calls. It's going to create key takeaways, but it's kind of got a really neat superpower that allows you to search your meetings, ask about a particular meeting, or even search across meetings. It can also
Ooh.
be set up to share with teams, and you can share the meetings to people in those teams, which is really nice for future reference. It's great for customer calls, vendor meetings, sales calls, interviews, project follow-ups, and even internal team meetings. We do a weekly team meeting on Thursdays at Cloud9. It's a great way to remember that 2.5 hour brain dump.
When's the last time you had to reference that specific meeting, Rob?
Oh gosh, didn't we reference it at the end of day yesterday? Yeah.
Absolutely, we did.
Great segue to a show and tell, Jim. So the real world use, it's simple as pressing this button on the back and then it vibrates a second and you get a little red light. I'm right now transcribing a live voice message to show how that works going into the Plaud app. And then I hit the button to stop it. I can load it in my app on my phone. I go to Plaud and this thing starts automatically finding the device and downloading. I can hit a button, generate summary. There's a web version of the app and a mobile version of the app, but you can see this is what I just did. And it's in here generating the summary right now. Devin from Jeremiah's called me up about something. It literally summarizes the call for me, gives you my to-do list.
How? Even with checkboxes and everything.
Yeah, and it even gave me suggestions and recommendations of things that I might have not even thought of during the conversation. I met a customer last week. We talked about some hardware strategies to potentially save them some money. We talked about what internet redundancy they were going to have. We talked about changing our service model with them. As they've grown, they're looking for more reliability and pricing and budget. Here's where the hack starts to happen. I can feed this right into my ChatGPT profile. So I went to here and said, copy transcript. And I said, I'm working with a customer and want to write a follow-up email thanking them for their time. Jim's pulling the past 3 years of data for their account. Tim will work on an alignment proposal. I'm asking for 5 to 8 business days. I've copied the transcript from the meeting. And it writes me the follow-up email in my voice. We'll get back to that. I have GPT connected to my email. I used this morning just to kind of prompt and refresh this conversation. And I gave my GPT conversation the whole context of where this is right now. And I really should go ahead and rename this MOH Relationship Review 2026 Q2, Q3. I also sent Tim a copy of the transcript and summary notes. It's going to have all that context, which Tim can use in his Claude session or whatever. So you can see how I turn a meeting into something I could feed into the system, prompt, get an email draft in minutes. And it's dead on with what I wanted to do because I prompted it with the intention I wanted.
And not a single action item missed because it was all recorded.
Sometimes it'll come back, right? It'll say, hey, you didn't address this and this. Is this something you want to bring up now? Another neat thing about Plaud, the transcript can be set to identify the speakers. It lets you listen to each little section of the meeting. And by naming the speakers, you get a more accurate summary of who said what. That leads into what we were talking about, Jim, with the whole ability to assign people. When we're talking about could you assign something to the correct people? Well, when you know which speaker brought up what, that's a key unlock there.
Absolutely.
How accurate have you found it identifying the different voices and being able to assign a name to each of those?
Because you listen to them in the playback and you get to assign them, it's really good. The other thing is oftentimes a speaker might inflect differently in one part of the conversation. And so you might get 2 extra speakers that weren't really there. Every name that you've already put in, it already has that name in that conversation. So when you type the same name again, it's going to like pre-fill out like, oh, is this the same person? So it's smart enough to know that.
That's awesome.
That is awesome technology, because obviously just a transcript of a conversation that's an hour long without identifying who said what has a lot less use than being able to break down. Rob said this, Caroline said this, Jim said this.
And that can be an issue too when you're using something like Fathom or your Teams recorder, is it's assigning what was said all to wherever it picked up the audio. It's not siphoning through the audio and then trying to recognize different voices. And that's a nice feature that Claude system is naturally trying to do. So Fathom, I found Fathom because I was on with a couple of vendors and they would send me back these summaries right after the call. And the key takeaways are like really good. I had played with Read AI and obviously we had the built-in Teams one in-house, but just felt like this was always fast and polished. But high level, this is key takeaways from the conversation, the topics that were discussed, and then any next steps. And then actually over here too, as an admin of your meetings, you can edit the action items, which it automatically generates and tries to assign them to the right people in the call.
That's pretty cool.
Remember, this is all about getting that summary and getting that transcript into another language model so that you can draft an email off of it. You could say copy transcript and then it copies it, summary, copies it. So those things you can easily paste in your GPT window or even save them. The other thing that's nice is if you notice, it says visible to all teams. So you might have some people that are in a account management team or project management team, and they get to see those other calls. To Jim's point, we did a meeting last week. This was an impromptu Teams meeting. And Jim and I were talking about how we classify internally. I don't think it brought it up, did it, Jim?
No, I did. You had to search for it.
But what I was able to do is go into Fathom and say something like, didn't we discuss account classification? Yeah.
Classification, yep.
In this meeting? Yes, briefly near the end. And then it also goes into the meeting with the timestamps and lets us go right to that part of the meeting and listen to it.
Oh, so there's no misunderstanding because you can hear what was actually said at that exact moment.
Exactly. If I want to see it full screen, I can go to where we were talking about and kind of take that back.
Is that a 3-hour meeting that you have recorded there? Is there a limit to how much time one of these can record?
I haven't run into recording limits on Fathom.
2.5 hours is a long meeting, and with no cutoff on it, that's pretty good. You could have an all-day meeting and hopefully only have to restart the recording a couple times.
Full day site surveys, operations consulting meetings with customers. We were working with that customer all day with a recorder sitting on the table, going through 6 different topics. To remember everything that was discussed would have been near impossible. But taking all, 5.5 hours of meetings, then boiling it down and sending it all into ChatGPT and Claude saved us a bunch of time.
Yeah, and mental strength.
We talked about how do you take notes in a meeting, and Caroline is a handwriter. And I was when I was at school as well. But I don't know if she's ever run at this, but I know I did, is if you're spending so much time writing one sentence, you may not hear something that came up from somebody else. So you're apt to miss something if you're manually taking notes. So not only can you free yourself from having to do that, you're able to concentrate on exactly what's going on in the meeting instead of worrying about writing something down and then potentially missing it. So I really like that. And then obviously the time savings of being able to take something that was just in the ether, just words, and boiling it down to a summary and being able to query it.
What we're focusing in on is there's a subconscious relief of knowing that if I don't remember it verbatim, it's not the end of the world. I can put a little more mental energy into being more engaged in that conversation.
In our chat, we had a couple of questions. One is, how easy is it to set up Plaud or Fathom?
Good question. Plaud's crazy easy. I think you sign into the Gmail account or have it go through email where it can verify who you are. There is a subscription fee to Plaud. It's based on how much anticipated usage you'd have. So if you're a heavier user like me, I think it works out to be like $100 a year or $10 a month. I easily get the time back. It's the workflow aspect of it that really gives it its value, plus that ability to run it through that audio filter and name multiple speakers.
So for the cost of Amazon Prime for the year, you can record all your meetings and you never miss an action item.
There's a bundle too when you purchase it. If you want to get the device and the first year of the recording, they give you a discount to buy them together, which is how I started.
What about Fathom? Is it as simple as Claude?
I mean, in some ways it's easier because there's no device. You sign up for a free trial. You'll go into a setup window when it starts and it will say, hey, this is the walkthrough to connect your accounts. And you'll connect it to your Zoom account, your Google, and you'll connect it to your Office 365 as well. And what that does for you is it reads your calendar entries and also join the meeting for you.
So they're both pretty user friendly. That's really important, I think. Storage capacity is the next question. What's the storage capacity? Does the Plaud itself contain storage, or does it immediately send it via the internet to somewhere to be stored?
I've had 2 or 3 days worth of recordings on this before and got nowhere near the capacity. The battery life's also really good. I probably charge mine once every 2 to 3 weeks. I keep it charged up by my work desk.
That's awesome. And then the last question is, the online account where the info is stored, is that like a Google Drive or is it like its own place?
So as far as storage capacity with Plaud and Fathom, they have their own backend libraries. You can export things for long-term storage, but it doesn't save them natively in your Google Drive. That's probably because there's a sharing aspect to them. Plaud is also introducing a for Teams version. So I'm here in Plaud. If I'm in my home, I can take these individual meetings and I can move them to folders. I might have a folder that's a cam call, something related to HR, something related to a particular customer. And they're adding this team workspace aspect where I could share with other team members. So why would I do it? What's the benefit of keeping it here? Obviously, you can ask and reference things about your recording, similar to like you can in Fathom. It's got that technology, which your Google Drive's not going to have in a native format. When I want to share this with other people in my team, I can either invite other Plaud users to have the same experience I have, but also keeps the share secure, or I can create a link with an expiration date if it's maybe not as secure of a kind of content. So those things get built in automatically to the platform. And like I say, Fathom kind of has something similar in the sense of the way that you could share with your teammates.
Is there a retention policy, like how long it will hold on to something?
You can set up certain policies in your organization, in your retention policies right here.
Wow.
You can even say, hey, I don't want the data from my system training AI models on their side. I think there's a collect recording consent from the attendees in advance, which is something new they added. So you have a meeting coming up and it will email the attendees that are on that meeting, hey, so-and-so is planning to record this meeting with Fathom.
Do the desktop apps work on Macs?
There is a download for Mac and PC. I don't believe there's a Linux specific one. You can also connect them to your Claude, to your ChatGPT and be like, hey, I was in a meeting with so-and-so. Can you pull the transcript? There is API access as well, which we actually use. Tim actually goes in his meetings and has built a workflow that pulls this stuff.
I think this is just a really useful professional tool.
Sure. Your meetings take up a lot of time anyway. Why not record them? AI meeting tools let you capture the conversation, but the real value comes when you process that conversation through your judgment, your voice, your follow-up, and your workflow. So I want to get into like, what is this, your business judgment, your voice, your follow-up style, your workflow. This really requires an investment from you, but it's a one-time thing that pays off multiple times on a workflow like this. You've got to train the language models on who you are. You can be honest about your strengths, your weaknesses, your concerns, your common blind sides. Maybe I tend to speak too technical and I want to really keep my language catered to a more executive or user level audience, not a technical audience. Those are like, how do I want to communicate? Style and tone, grammar and punctuation. I don't want you to use M dashes, even though you're a language model that loves M dashes. I don't want you to do it. If you notice, when my stuff posts, it does not have M dashes in it. I've told the system, don't sound like an AI model by doing those things. I don't communicate that way. Value the reader's time. Try to keep the most important part toward the front of it. These are all little things that influence how your content will be created for you.
Hey,
It's
Rob,
like you're
can you
teaching.
put an M dashes?
Oh, the M dash is that long dash that you always see in language models because they were trained on so much literature. The long hyphen.
Got it.
I was talking with Becky Teal at Huntress last week, and she said that somebody internal had sent her 100 questions you should answer in Claude to build your ultimate personality duplicate or something like that, to make Claude talk and think like you. People need to know why that's so powerful. There are resources out there that each of these have to tell you how to do it. And they're all basically the same principle, whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft 365 Copilot. They're all about what are the things that are the writing style guidance particular to how I communicate and how I look at the world. They help duplicate your efforts. You're training your intern to know you better. There's probably some more fun ones, and maybe we'll do some research and send that out so we can find some 100 tricks you can do. But I think
That might be fun.
So that's really it. Train these systems to be like you so that you can feed information. Meetings are a low-hanging fruit. You're having those conversations every day. You might as well take advantage and capture that content and use it.
Absolutely.
I got one question on the Plaud. It's very important.
Hit me.
Sure.
Have they built in a GPS tracker on that yet?
No, they want to sell more of them.
We'll have to 3M
Okay.
tape an air tag to Rob's.
There we go.
That's a good idea. There is a newer version of the hardware, and I'm curious if the newer version has a find me feature, like when you lose your earbud and you can like, oh, make a noise, help me rescue you.
Since we have answered all questions, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for AI note taking and never missing an action item again. Hopefully, if you go out and get the new Plaud, you can play hide and go seek with yours, just like Rob does. I hope everyone has a wonderful week this week, and we enjoyed having you. Thank you so much.
All right, take it easy.